Hey there, folks. How you doing? This is Tony with Getting Back to the Basics. So we're gonna go ahead and do another update on the garden, and I can tell you, I am just beside myself. The garden is doing phenomenal. Um, Everything is really taking off. So we're gonna go ahead and flip the camera around so you can see what we got here, and so you can be able to see the progress from when we first started to now, in which has been about a month. So hang on for a second. So if you see here, here is our this is actually the wife's herb garden. We got some parsley in there. We got some basil. We got some sage and some thyme and some I don't quite know what all we have in there. I can tell you this is the basil. Yep. And here we have some, this is oregano. And right here we have some garden sage. And here we have, oh yeah, now this is a new one I've never seen before or heard before. I know it's out, but it's called chocolate mint. It smells really neat. Let me go again. Here's our parsley. And we're going to come down to here, see what we got. Oh, and rosemary. And here's some lemon thyme. So now if you look here, here is our sweet potatoes. Or I'm sorry, not sweet potatoes. I will get to those in a minute. This is our potato tower. Hands smell like all the herbs now. Now I've been real busy, doing a lot of stuff, and I have not had a chance. But what I have to do is go ahead. I need to build this up, and I need to fill this up, because if you look, because when I first did this and had it planted, they were all starting to sprout, and they looked about like that, or pretty close to it. Now, if you come back, actually, I'm sorry, this is how they looked when I put them in the ground. So if you're looking at them now, I mean, this right here, this one here is pretty close to about a foot tall, which I'm completely ecstatic. It's great. And if we all look here, these are not onions, this is garlic. So I did have some garlic planted. I got 2 bulbs, and they weren't doing like they were. And I went ahead and put them in the ground anyway. And some of them are trying, like this one right here is trying. Well, these were all from a clove of garlic that the wife had that she threw in the compost container that goes in our compost bin. Well, I pulled it out, I separated it, put them in the ground. Now when I put them in the ground, they're only probably about that tall. Within 2 weeks, look at what I got. They are doing phenomenal, and I can tell you, Miracle-Gro was the best thing to use for a garden. So the potatoes I had in here, I need to go ahead and pull this stuff out, because this is not what I want in there. This can take over my garden real quick. But I had, I believe it's some Yukon Gold that was in here, and they weren't doing so great. So I went to the feed store, had to pick up some stuff, and the guy at the feed store, he went ahead and said, just go ahead and take them. And they're already starting to get some green on them, but I need to go ahead and get another frame built on this one. But I'm gonna hold off on it until I get that one taken care of, because I need to get soil put in there. So here's our sweet potato. Looks like something's trying to eat at it, but I went and put some 7 dust around all the beds, so maybe that'll help to kind of slow down on what's eating stuff in my garden. But the sweet potato's doing good. They're got a bad looking plant here, a leaf. I'll pull that off. But they're all looking good so far. Here's our asparagus, and the only drawback with asparagus, you got to wait about 2 to 3 years before you can even start harvesting it. And if you look down here at all the white stuff, that's all the 7 dust stuff, I was sprinkled on the ground. And our strawberries are doing real good. So every one of these you see where there's a flower, there'll be a strawberry coming in, and we're actually doing really good with strawberries. It'll do a lot better once this all fills out. Here's our lettuce. I mean, if you remember the very first video where talking about the garden, how small the lettuce is, and we actually had some Sunday night. We had some burgers, and I come out, cut some of the lettuce, and let me tell you, ain't nothing better than homegrown lettuce. So we got our Brussels sprouts right here, and we got our 2 heads of cabbage, and we're already something starting to get to the cabbage. And I don't like doing cabbage because it's something always gets to it. So, and I got a feeling I'm gonna have to spray something on this, do some research what it's gonna take. But I mean, the cabbage is looking good. Make sure we don't get anything in there that don't belong in there. But yep, so here's our 2 heads of cabbage. If they don't do, I'm not gonna do cabbage again. Wife wanted to try one more time, and I hate doing cabbage. So here's our Brussels sprouts. So if you look at them, when we first got them, they were probably about 4 inches tall. Now they are just like filling out. They're just going really, really good. I need to come in here, and every one of these lower leaves I know need to go ahead and cut off. And I did that with the tomatoes, and try to prevent any kind of mold, or not mold, but kind of like mildew, because it could play a factor on the leaves. So this is a good example right here why I'm gonna cut these off, because I barely touched that and my finger came through, which is not good. So I need to go back, cut every one of these leaves, get them a little bit higher, so airflow can get underneath there. But I got a feeling I'm gonna have to go ahead and dust these, because something's getting to them. But inside here is gonna be my Brussels sprouts. And I really don't want to dust them because 7 dust is a poison. So, but they're all doing really, 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 really good. And so here's our peppers, and they're doing good. I don't know what this one's doing. It's kind of squatty, but this one right here, we're gonna have a bunch. And this is the Cajun Bell, and get off of there. It's doing good. We got a pepper, so I can move the leaf out of the way. Right there, there's a pepper. So everywhere there's a flower, there will be a pepper. So this is going to have some good, have quite a bit of peppers on it. And this is a bell. It's a Golden California Wanderer, which doing good. A little slow, but it's doing good. And I went and did some trimming on these to take off the little sucker vines down there with the limbs, and they don't need to be on there. It's going to slow down how the plant does. And this is a sweet Italian pepper, Carmen. So, and here's one of our first peppers. You can always tell which one your first pepper is. It's going to be the biggest one out of them. And here's our habanero right here. I got 2 habaneros, and if you look right here, got a flower right here. It's got some ants on it. I don't know why. And apparently the 7 dust didn't affect them. But we're gonna have a few on there. We're gonna have a few on here. And if we come down here, these are all, I'm trying to remember what these are. I don't remember off the top of my head. These are our sweet banana peppers. And we've already, got some flowers on there, which that's a good thing. And here's all my jalapenos. Well, I love jalapenos. And I went and did some snipping on these right here. So they will do what they're supposed to do. And so far everything's looking good. I need to get here and do a little bit of weeding. And here's this. Now this is the one thing I love growing. I love growing tomato plants. They're such a hardy plant. They do good. There's nothing better than fresh tomatoes right off the vine. I can come out here and just pull one right off the vine and sit there and eat it like an apple. There ain't nothing better in the world. And it's awesome. So again, I did some trimming on the bottom of these, and I need to tie them up again because they are doing really, really good. And I went through anywhere. I have some suckers coming on the plants. Like here's a sucker right, so if you look right down here, this right here really need to get out because it takes away from the nutrients that the plant needs as far as tomatoes. But everything's doing good, and I love the smell of tomato plants. That's just a unique smell. It's just, this is the one thing I really, really enjoy doing. I love doing a garden, doing it from scratch. And it's so rewarding. And here we go, look at here, we got some tomatoes, and I believe this is our golden cherry, and gonna be ready to pick here real soon, which I'm ecstatic for. I'm kind of excited to see how these taste. And I believe here, this is some of our beefsteaks, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. As we got almost 2 full rows of beefsteaks. I think we got a total of 12 plants, and those are my favorite. So you see here, everything's doing really good, like I said. And I'm gonna have to come back out here. I'm gonna have to tie these things up probably this weekend. And I'm just tickled to death at how the garden's doing. They're just doing, everything's doing phenomenal. See, we got another tomato right here, and I think these might be some early girls. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember off the top of my head. I did have a tag down there, but the tag's gone. I know this first 2 rows, most of those are all beefsteak. But I think that one on the end might be over there, early girl, at the end of the row. Now, usually we do peas in the float beds, but didn't get a chance this year, and they didn't take, I don't know why. So I went ahead and just made a bed, put some Miracle-Gro and some black cow manure in there, and just tilled it up, put them right in the ground. And so far, just about, I think every one of my beans come up. There might be a couple peas that didn't come up. We have another one right here. I don't know what it's gonna do. It might. If it does, great. If not, we got a good fair amount. And there's another one right there. It came up kind of late. There's another one, and there was supposed to be one right in there. It didn't come up. Got one right here, and like I said, if it don't, beans, one bean plant does, pretty good. And we have another one right here trying to come up to see if we can't help it out any. So, but not 100% sure where it's at, but we'll let it finish doing its thing. And peas. These are sugar snap peas all the way down this road. And I was trying to minimize how much room I had, so I did the bed, right about a little over a foot long and 8 foot long, foot wide and 8 foot long. So I want to try to yield more produce, more food out of one bed than just having 2 separate rows. Now, I went ahead and I planted some red crimson clover in here, and that's my clover right there. And I have it all along right up through here. Now, reason why I'm doing this is once these things start flowering out and everything else starts flowering out, that's going to help, with the pollination, especially with the corn here. Now, I got the corn tight, and I need that cross pollination. So we'll see how the corn does. So in here we got this is our squash. Squash is doing good. And it's funny, and I'll tell you in a second about what I found inside the corn plant, or the bed for the corn. And right here, this is gonna be our pickling cucumbers right through here. But they're all doing good. We got our zucchini right here, and our zucchini's looking really good. So I'm waiting to see a flower pop out.